Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Friends of the Squared Circle. I'm your host, Crender Q, aka my real name. Now, as we've had on before, we have Abbi as our special guest today. Today, we're going to discuss Saturday night Nitro at the Mall of America. And I apologize, I've been absent. I was out with some medical issues, as well as proposing to my now fiance. So, Abbi, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And now I have to brag, second highest rated episode we've had. I'm excited because you bring in the viewers. You've got a nice following, just like I do. You guys have a little family there in First Wrestling. Care to discuss that?
Yeah, so we call ourselves the First Wrestling Family. I think I briefly touched on them the last recording we had, but it's just a group of us where we go to a lot of the first shows or the local shows. Unfortunately, I'm in Duluth, so I can't go to all the shows they go to, but we mostly go and hang out on Twitter. We give each other a rough time, but in the most loving way possible. And we kind of talk about everything. Obviously, wrestling is a huge part of it, but we also just talk about, what we're doing with our lives, random stuff. It just really depends on the day, what the group chat's going to bring. But it's just a nice place because, if you do go to a first show or even a local show that's not first, you have people there that you can hang out with and talk to and have a good time with. And it really makes the shows that much more special.
Definitely. And I know I've got my little inner circle, which you're a part of, which we've met through wrestling, which is great. Mm-hmm. It's always good to have a buddy at a show because sometimes it sucks going alone. And I know I've been to a few alone, and it's not very fun, especially when I went to WrestleMania. Cheap plug here. But so, like I said, today we're going to talk about Saturday Night Nitro. That's a tongue twister for me here at First Wrestling. First show in 27 years in the Mall of America. So I got this cool little thing I showed you off camera, but now people, we're getting a little
crazy,
fancy up in here at Friends of the Squared Circle here. But so what was your initial reaction when you heard about they were bringing wrestling back to the Mall of America?
So I was at the WrestlePalooza when they announced it. I think you were too.
Same, guilty. Yep.
Yeah, and I was on the floor actually around a bunch of the First Wrestling family members. And, Eric Cannon came out, started talking, and they started to cut the package. And they talked about, WCW being in Mall of America. And right then and there, I'm like, oh, my God, they're going to the Mall of America. And when they announced it, I kind of just lost my mind. I was kind of at a loss for words because I'm like, well, of course I'm going. But, how is this possible that, this used to be, little indie promotion is selling out the Mall of America? It's crazy.
Definitely crazy. When he first came out, I'm like, oh man, he better not retire because I would have cried.
Right, me too.
Yeah, because I love Eric Cannon. I love Darren Corbin as well. But when it comes down to the two, as we've talked before, I've got to root for Darren, and you would side with Riley Jackson. We won't get into that. That's too much to unpack on this show. This isn't Michael Rosenbaum and all his stuff. But I was a kid that grew up with watching that. I remember seeing that, Lex Luger and them coming out. I know it's not nice to ask a woman her age, but were you born when the first show happened?
I was not born when the WCW show happened.
I just want to throw that out there for some listeners because, I am an old man. I don't look it because I have this great beard. But I remember that because there was a train station that you can see in the background. I was like, I've been to that store, because I think I would have been about 8 or 9 when that happened. And I always forget how big of a deal it is that a lot of people haven't been to the Mall of America. And I'm like, really? And then I remember that it's literally in our backyard.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I hadn't been there for years, but it was kind of nice just hanging out before the show and getting to wander around too. Ran into Effie, ran into Warhorse. It was just funny seeing everybody out and about.
Yeah. I have definitely become a fan of Effie after the last few shows I have seen him on.
Effie's great.
The dude does not get the props that he deserves. He is fantastic. We'll get into it a little bit more in his match, kind of what that meant to me at the show. But so did you go to the Fan Fest?
I did. I went to the Fan Fest, and I also went to the after party on Saturday.
Okay. Can you give us a little insight on the Fan Fest, and then we'll cover the show a little bit, then we'll jump into that after party there.
Yeah, so Fan Fest was really fun. I didn't go and get VIP or anything because I'm like, I don't need that. I want to see my local guys, and I'm sure I'll get to talk to everybody else later, which I did the next night, which we'll get into. But yeah, it was fun. Victoria, RVD, Jerry Lynn, like everybody was there with their tables. But even if you didn't want to go meet the wrestlers, they had so much stuff to do. I mean, they had axe throwing, they had go-karts. Nice. They had, it was like an arcade type bar too, so there's a lot of arcade games. So you could really just hang out with everybody and still be a part of the show. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that I decided kind of last minute that I was going to do it.
And I feel like sometimes, like, you and I have been to a bunch of wrestling shows, and we've met the bigger names. And it's always one of my favorite things to do is just go talk to Darren, even though I've talked to him 1,000 times in the last, 12 years that I've known him.
Right.
And it's just great because he treats you like a person, remembers who we are. I feel it's more personal when I meet those guys again, and.
Oh, 100%. Because like you said, they do remember who you are. I got my little brother autograph from Darren, and he wrote on there, he's like, thank you for your whole family for always supporting me and going on. And I'm like, that's just so cool that he can remember everybody and interacts with people and remembers names. And that's a lot of the local guys do that too. And girls, I should say. When I say guys, I mean everybody. But that's what a lot of them do. They all remember who we are, especially if you're going to, multiple shows. And it's just really cool.
And I feel like we're spoiled because we get Derek and Aaron and Thunder Frog, Riley Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
A lot,
And
so
Black Sexton's Devon Monroe.
Oh, we cannot forget. I always like, I'm going to say it, fangirl over him every time I talk about First Wrestling. So trying to dial down the excitement. But yes, I love Devon Monroe. When he came out, I had my, photo. I think I took more photos of him than I took of the whole wrestling show, just because I'm so happy for what he's doing. And I know we're going on a rabbit hole, but I'm just so excited for what he's doing for First Wrestling and for the community, so.
Right, 100%.
Yep, and then get back to Darren, another one that I don't want to fangirl too much out for is, when I first met him, I got an 8x10, so now it's my thing. Every time I go there, I'm like, do you have any new 8x10s? And he's like, no, Cal, you have them all. So I will say I have a few that other people don't have because I signed up to the Patreon.
Me too.
Make sure you do that. I don't know where my tumbler went. Oh, it's here on the floor. I forgot to fill it up. But yes, we have our WrestlePalooza champions on a tumbler by Superior Creations. Get those out of the way. But yeah, same with Eric. Every time I go up to his table, I'm like, what do you have that's new? I already have everything. So so he's going to send me some with his WrestlePalooza championship, which I'm excited to add to the collection.
Right.
But yeah, that's totally cool. Like Darren and Eric are so approachable. They're super busy, but they still take the few seconds to talk to you. And I talked to Darren after the show, and he's just coming off a high, cordial enough to take a picture with Amy and I. Said congratulations on my engagement because he pays attention to what I'm doing as well because I'm a big shot.
Nice.
But that's back to what we're saying is that they make it more personal. So
right.
So and then I guess we can just jump into Saturday Night Nitro here. What was your where were you seated or seated, standing, and then how excited were you on a scale of 1 to 10? There we go.
So I was on the second floor on the balcony, which I actually loved because I could see everything. Because I'm really short, so I have issues. If I'm not up in the front seats, I can't see because of everybody. So I actually really loved being on the balcony. And I mean, just the excitement level for the whole thing, I think everybody was on a 10. Yep. I mean, we were chanting down the clock that was telling us when the show was going to start after every minute.
Yeah, that was pretty great. I was trying to figure out what was happening because we had just got there. So
right, and I love that they had the little pre-show matches, and then they had Nerdy come out.
Oh, Nerdy! Yep.
I love Nerdy. When I first saw him at that Palooza, I became an instant fan, and to see him at the Mall of America doing his thing inside the ring, he was having the time of his life.
I spoke to him afterwards, and he was saying that he would love to get in there, do a celebrity match. And I was like,
Yeah.
I know a few guys I could talk to, but I'm sure he's got more of a connection than we do. But yes,
Oh,
Nerd D
absolutely.
is just, I
He's
don't know
so
what, it's
great.
like Lizzo vibes. I get Lizzo vibes from him when he's out there just dancing and,
He has no care in the world.
yep. And I'm a nerd as well, so it's great that he raps about, like, the wrestling, the animes. I mean, Amy had to explain to me one of his songs was talking about, the seven ball Dragon Ball Z balls, and I've never watched the show, and
Me
she's
neither.
explaining, and I'm like, oh, well, that's cool that you can connect with that because she watches that show. So
Right. See, for me, I connected when I first heard the song Tyler Breeze, and I was like, wait,
oh
this guy's actually rapping about Tyler
yeah,
Breeze. I love it.
yeah, I
That's
really
how
like
you
that.
know he's a true fan.
Yeah, I like that song, the "Take My Picture," because I feel pretty, and I'm just like,
Right.
and I worked at a middle school, and I got to ride the floor scrubber at night, so I'm always, shimmering and shaman on the thing, and people are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Listen to Nerd D." They're like, "What?" I was like, "You want to understand?" And I keep driving. So,
Right. You got to check it out. He's
so
on
since
Spotify.
yeah, since that show is, you know, ended, I have had him on every time I pick up Amy, and he's got like Nintendo's a good one. Talks about relationships. I know I talk about Amy too much. Randy, if you're listening, I hope you're taking a shot every time I mention Amy, like you said you were going to do. So hopefully he's drunk and passes out and doesn't critique the show the rest of the time. But yeah, Nerdy is definitely fire. Super nice guy. Hopefully First Wrestling brings him back and back to the wrestling.
Oh, I'm sure
So,
they will.
yeah. So that first match. Now, I don't want to give too many spoilers away because people still got to watch this. So we'll just talk about a few matches. But what did you think of that first match there?
I thought it was perfect. Obviously, like I said, I don't want to give spoilers, but Cannon and Corbin are first wrestling, so
Definitely. Yep.
it only makes sense for them to open up the show in probably their 2000 match that they've had, if not more. But I never get tired of seeing them. They always put on a great match, no matter where it is, no matter in front of how many people. So I really thought it was the perfect beginning to the show.
Yep. And we won't give too much away, like I said, because I saw somebody posted on Twitter. There's people still wanting to watch, so we'll wait. But I definitely love the ending. Darren Corbin, Eric Cannon, fight forever.
Right.
I think that was somebody else's little slogan, but I'm stealing it. Those guys are definitely, they tear down the house and they just play off that rivalry so well.
It's they have such a good chemistry that it's perfect. Like,
Yep.
even if like they're teaming, you still know, like, oh yeah, they're gonna be fighting by the end of this.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
no
gonna be
doubt.
arguing who gets the tag, and yeah.
Right.
Yeah, when I first met Darren, I remember I had another wrestler friend that told me to go tell him he sucks, and I was afraid to tell him. But as soon as I told him who it came from, he's like, "Okay, I get it, because they had wrestled a bunch back when those guys were first starting out and stuff."
Right.
So saw him all the way back in North Dakota at just some hotel show. Who's I can't think of her name. I can see her because she had red hair then. She's with Karrion Kross right now.
Scarlett.
She was on the card as well back then. So crazy. That was like forever ago. But yeah, ever since that night, I bought his DVDs, got his 8x10. I've been hooked ever since. So
I love it. Yeah, we were kind of the same. I mean, me and my dad didn't even know who Corbin was until we went to our first Heavy On show, which again, I think I was talking about. I don't remember exactly which show it was. I just know it was Cannon versus Corbin in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the championship.
okay.
And Corbin yelled at a child, and my dad's like, "That's my new favorite wrestler."
Yep.
So, and then since then, it's been, every show, got to talk to Corbin, got to talk to Cannon.
Yeah, and I know we hashed it out before. I think it was like the Valentine's Day one that you were kind of sitting near me, and you were cheering for someone else, and I told you that you were wrong because
So that would have been a show. That wouldn't have been my first show because I didn't know anybody yet.
Yeah.
But definitely one of the early ones.
Yeah, I think that was kind of later on because Sebastian Taylor was wrestling by himself, and
right.
I love Sebastian, but I always got to pick who I have to boo, and it's usually him or JDX. Like they're both great guys, but It's usually they're wrestling my favorite, so it's just like, sorry, you're on the lower spectrum of my like list. So
See, I can't boo Sebastian because he's actually a really good friend of mine.
mhm.
So like I can't do it. And I have more merch of his than I have anyone else's, just for supporting purposes.
You hear that, Riley Jackson? Sorry.
Okay, Riley knows that him and Devon put over my heart.
Yeah, it's good to see him back from injury as well. I did bump into him there while we were walking to get some food and quick before it started. And yeah, I'm definitely going to try to get him on. His schedule lines up a little bit better with mine now, so we were talking about that. So
yeah, he'd be great to have on. He's a great person.
And he's got a lot of the horror side of it and the collectibles. That's kind of where I connected with him, was more his collectibles because he posted that stuff.
Oh yeah, he's got a huge collection.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Let's see, what other match? Well, we got to talk about that 4-way with your boy Riley Jackson, Devon Monroe.
My voice, I lost it after that match because everybody knows that Riley and Devon are my boys.
Yep.
I think they were fighting,
Yep.
and it broke my heart, but I had to cheer. My dad accused me of cheering for Riley over Devon.
Yeah,
and
I saw the
Devon I was doing that.
Yeah.
But I will say I had to be louder for Riley because I had to make sure he was loved over the chorus of boos when he came out. And I've heard from multiple people on the floor that they could hear me over the boos for Riley. So I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I thought I heard something, and then I turned around, and that's when I finally spotted,
Oh, yeah.
Not to give our secret away that we know each other too much. But yeah, yeah. I could hear stuff from the second balcony. And like I said on the 13 cards, I wish they would have showed you guys more because you guys were into it. Like,
oh, yeah.
Those second, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. That's my new catchphrase. I'm getting goosebumps. But like, you guys were wild up there. I could hear that second balcony all night, and it was great.
I tried to keep up the energy as much as I could. But I did get hoarse by the end of there, that's for sure.
I've been there when I booed Dak Draper. So, but yeah, it was Devon Monroe, Riley Jackson, Brandon Gore, and then
Lindsay Dorado.
Thank you. I always mess up his name. I get him confused with Dante Martin's old.
El Angel Dorado. Yeah.
So I'm not good with the Lucha or the Spanish or the Japanese names too well, but I do appreciate their bodies of work. But yes, that was a hell of a match, and I was just cheering on Devon the whole time. Again, trying not to fangirl too much out. The guy next to me, his wife, I think, was working photography for First Wrestling, and he was asking like who the top names and baby faces and heels were, and I was like, hey, one guy you got to watch when he comes out is Devon Monroe.
Yep.
Doesn't look like much, but that boy can go. And then, Riley was bringing it, Dorado, and then, of course, Brandon Gore. I think that guy hates me because I made a joke about his tattoo on his back, but it was all good and fun.
I love Brandon. He's really grown on me the past couple shows.
It's so hard to boo anybody at the First Wrestling show because we know them so well, but it's just like I said, I got my tiers. Like, if you're below the tier, sorry, you're going to get.
Right. And I'm sure they appreciate that. I was actually talking with a couple people from the First Wrestling family, and we were talking about Riley and how he's always booed. And they're like, it actually goes great with his character because like me and there's a few other girls will just scream for him and love him. So it makes him more hated by the guys because the girls are just loving him. It works perfect for what he's going for. So that's another reason why we cheer as loud as we do to help him out in that regard.
And then with Riley Jackson, he's got that, that cool song. It's Kiss, it's Love Gun.
It's actually not Kiss.
What's that?
It's actually not Kiss. Do you want the tea? So it's actually the Stone Sours version of Love Gun.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that till a couple months ago.
I'll have to apologize to Amy because I felt like a big shot. There's another shot for you, Randy. Because I was like, oh, Kiss, Love Gun. She's like, what? I was like, you wouldn't understand. You're too young, So.
Yeah, actually, Rob Page let that news slip out. So.
Well, it's a great cover then. I mean,
it sounds like the original.
And I like Kiss, because of other things. But yeah, Riley Jackson does get him stirred up. I always bring up how he ripped my nephew's sign. My nephew, like anytime we talk about when he went to a wrestling show, he's like, remember when that guy ripped up my sign? And my godson actually attacked him. I'll have to find that picture and put it on here, but it's just hilarious that, like at the time, a 7-year-old jumps out of his seat to attack him because he ripped up a sign. So,
well, and Riley has such a punchable face too. Like, I love him, but he does. Like, you look at him, it's kind of like a Sammy Guevara, where like they just have such a punchable face that they cannot be a good guy. Because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he definitely plays it well, and I tell it all the time because it's such a great story. Because then I met him the following night for Heavy on Wrestling when they had it up at the casino, and he was working Bruce Pritchard's table, and I just went all stone faced, like, "You think it's cool ripping up kids' sign?" And he looked all scared, and Bruce Pritchard just backs up like, "What is happening?" And I was like, "Hey man, just kidding. Like, I want to thank you for that memory." And I tell him that all the time. So he's probably sick of hearing it, but I like telling it. So
no, he's such a great person. Obviously I love Riley, but as a person, he's so cool too.
Yeah, I definitely got a few pictures with him, but other than that, I
get one every show. You know that.
Yep. You got to, because they love it. I try to give them money all the time. They throw it back at me. It's like, guys, like, I'm here to support you, and I know that I'm going to get a picture. Just take it,
Right.
I'm not doing this every time because I know I'm going to get a free picture. So
exactly.
And then I sign up for Darren's Patreon. You should too, fans listening. I know Abbi, you're on there, but he doesn't charge me anything ever, and I just like, dude, like, just take it. It's extra for you. You gotta
money.
yeah.
Grab a bite to eat after the show. I don't care.
Let me pay for your Taco Bell or whatever to eat. So
right.
But and then some other great matches was Orange Cassidy versus Effie.
Love.
No disrespect to Eric or Darren, but I feel like that was the match of the night for me. It was just phenomenal. The crowd was into it.
Yep.
Whereas Orange Cassidy would say, whatever. So.
I want to give a quick shout out to Ref Clark Feldman during that match.
Yes.
The way that when Effie was going to tap out from the chest slap or whatever you want to call it, and he was like reaching to the ropes, like Clark sold that so well. He was on there ready for Orange to tap. And so he just did, he did a great job the whole night, but that one spot really stuck out to me because he really made it real.
Yeah, and I know we're going to pull the shade back here a little bit. I know Clark was talking. That was on his bucket list, was to, ref an Effie match. And when he came out, I got a little video of like the crowd cheering for him coming out. You could just see, like, he could not believe that the crowd was chanting for him. And
it was such a loud chant too.
Yep. So he actually posted that one on his TikTok, so I feel famous again, So, but we love Clark here at First Wrestling. We're happy for Clark. Super glad he's back. We love all the Zebras, even though I like to boo Clark just because it's fun. And Rob Page is another good guy. And then the third one, you sent me his name. I can't remember now.
James Durden.
Thank you. I don't know much about him, but I usually boo him too.
He's so fun. Like I said, there's nobody that's a part of First Wrestling that I do not like. Yeah. So, I'll say that they're all great people because they are.
Yep.
Granted, if you work for Eric Cannon, you're a good person because he's not going to book somebody that's not a good person.
Yeah, I think it was because Clark ref majority of Eric and Darren's matches, and Eric would come out on top. So then I just started yelling, "Damn it, Clark," every time. And now every time I'm seeing him, like, "Damn it, Clark." Even though I love Clark, again, it's the tears, and you never count 1, 2, 3 for Darren. So
exactly.
So, definitely a fun time. So, but yeah, back to Effie and Orange Cassidy. Watching Amy just laugh and have a good time through that match. Because I always second guess myself when I bring her to shows because it's like, this is what I absolutely love. You want to come. I know she likes to drink and watch the show, but she was all into that match. She was smiling, laughing. I kept looking over at her just like, she loves it, so.
Right. Actually, my dad brought his like childhood best friend to the show because they were going to go to the Vikings Packers games the next day. So as default, he was, had to go to the show, and he's never been to a wrestling show in his entire life. So he really didn't know what to expect. Like he was kind of expecting, I think, more of like a like a Raw or a SmackDown show where it's just like straight up wrestling. And I remember the first pre-show match with like Possum and I believe Tori. And like he was just laughing. He's like, "What is this?" We're like, "This is first. Like you can't take anything too seriously." Yeah. And he ended up having a really good time. So I was really happy about that. But it was just a first show compared to like a Raw or a SmackDown show is just so completely different. Like you can't go in expecting, anything really, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's too bad, it's too bad they didn't have like the burlesque and the drag queens like they normally do. Because I love that part of it. Like it's always fun. They come up with the characters and stuff.
Right.
Amy and I like have just started watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and it's like a phenomenal show. Mm-hmm. I love it. It's hilarious. The drama, the excitement.
Right. I love reality.
That's what I love about First Wrestling is because of the characters that come to life there.
Yes.
And we mentioned Big Old Possum, and Amy was just as confused as I is. That's the first time I've seen him wrestle, and I only seen a glimpse of him on a few posters. But
okay,
Amy's like, but isn't it the mom that carries the babies? And I'm like, I don't know how possums work. Like, it is what it is. And then she yelled out, "Oh, he's playing dead! He's playing dead like a possum!" And I was like, yeah. So I think she enjoyed that one. I love Thunder Frog. And she gets super annoyed with me when I always bring him up. But, First Wrestling definitely has a barnyard of characters for sure. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Now I want to see Yellow Dog and Thunder Frog and
Possum.
Yeah, just a big old 4-way stable match,
Well, yeah, and Funky Fox is up and coming too. He's got to be thrown in there.
Funky Fox, that's the first. Okay.
He was at a couple first shows last summer. I haven't seen him in person, but I've heard that he's pretty stellar.
Yeah, it reminds me of Chikara, with all those guys. But have you seen the pizza guy that's going around, the Angelo or something like that?
So I just saw him on, I don't know if it was Dynamite or Rampage. I saw him briefly on there, and then I've been seeing like Twitter posts about him, but that's kind of the extent of my knowledge about it.
Yeah. I think Ethan Page kicked him in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like an Ethan Page kind of move. So
right.
Another guy that just plays an asshole really well is that guy.
Yes, yeah. I actually, at FanFest, I talked to him for a bit, and I was asking if he was going to do a toy hunt vlog in Minneapolis, and he said he was going to. He was just trying to find a place to go to. So hopefully that'll be out soon.
Yeah, I saw him and Dante and them were out doing some stuff like that one time too. So
yeah. So hopefully we'll be seeing that on YouTube soon.
I wish I could find all these cool stores that people find. I only got like 4, and then I find a few things on yard sales. But
it
is what it is. I'm sure Amy's going to put me on a budget now. I keep saying her name today because I want my buddy Randy to just blow up my messenger. Dude, you talk about her so much, so that's why I keep bringing her up today. So future episodes, I'll dial it back. But I know Randy's going to be listening first because he always listens first. So.
Well, perfect. Hi, Randy.
Another shot for you, Randy. He's going to get pissed. So lastly, we'll just cover the main event, and then we can talk about that after party you attended there.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited. RVD versus Dante, which turned into be a tag team match with Sunny Kiss and Ari Daivari. I was a little bummed only because I wanted to see RVD and Dante tear it down.
Agreed.
But again, I love Arya Daivari, First Wrestling family. Sunny Kiss is fitting in there perfectly with him in the Trust Busters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But what were your thoughts on the main event?
So I kind of had the same thoughts where at first I was a little bit disappointed because I wanted to see RVD and Dante, for the whole match. But I did like when it was turned into a tag team, I actually caught me by surprise and I enjoyed myself. And I think a lot of it just had to do with RVD probably didn't want to go like work a full match. He wanted to let some of the younger guys kind of get their stuff in. And I think it worked out well. I mean, RVD, I can't really give too much away, but he was in the match and they were both great. And even that, before it turned into a tag team match, it was phenomenal, RVD and Dante.
Yeah, just that first few chain wrestling that they had was just I'm like, this match is just going to be a banger. Like,
right.
I put my phone down. I'm like, I'm watching this match. Like,
yep.
I get criticized a lot, and I know other people do it too, but I just tend to take too many videos and photos. So I've kind of limited it to just doing the entrances and just a few pictures when they start and then watch. And I was on the edge of my seat right when they started that little mix up. And then those guys came out and I was like, it's going to get even better because Dante and Sonny Kiss have proved that they will put on a show. Aria and Dante have put on a show at Rampage, was it, in the cities they had there? Is that the one that's first?
Yeah, that's when Sonny turned on. I can't remember who she turned on, but that's when she joined the Trustbusters with Aria. Okay. It was at Rampage. Okay.
And then just to set the record straight, so I don't mess it up because I don't want to be disrespectful, is it she or he?
I believe she uses both, but it's mostly she.
Okay, so I'll use she because I don't want to come off disrespectful. I respect pronouns.
Right.
I mess them up. So if I did, Sonny, I apologize if you ever do watch one of my videos. I am here to make that right because this podcast is for everyone, just like First Wrestling, and we do support that. So she is phenomenal. I love her. I remember when we met her at the Pride show, she's like, don't touch my back. I was like, oh. She's like, oh, I'm just all sweaty. I was like, oh, okay. Because, you put your arm around people when you take a picture and stuff. So.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't want to mess up the pronouns, like I said, because that is important to people. In my head, it doesn't make sense, but, I'm here to show my support. But, yeah, definitely a banger of a match. I loved it. RVD pointing over at Dante at the end of the match was like, I think he saw something special.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully he passes it on to some people that he knows or other promotion he works. Well, I worked as a young kid in Minneapolis,
right.
Check him out, so.
Yeah, it was, everything about the match was, it was perfect. And then you could even see, like, just the smile that Dante had. Like, He was trying to hide it, but you knew he was just like, wow, I'm in a ring with RVD right now. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I know I saw a picture of him and Darius in the ring before the show or after the show or whenever, and it just, it's so great to watch those boys go.
Right.
The future is just so bright for those two there in AEW. Now, I don't watch AEW too much. It's just because I don't have access to it. And I kind of lean towards WWE because that's just what I know,
Right.
I'm not a stans on WWE and anti-AEW. It's just I don't watch AEW, so I don't feel the need to critique it. I prefer the and just like on 13 Cards, I prefer the indies because I get more of an up-close reaction. I talk mad shit, because I'm front row. And I like to have fun, and, just be more involved. And I get to meet the wrestlers. That's why I like the indies more. So.
Yeah. And like I said, I love AEW because AEW kind of helped spark my interest back into wrestling because I had stopped watching WWE for a while because it wasn't exciting to me anymore.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the same thing over and over again. And then right when I started kind of going to indie shows was when AEW kind of started popping up. Mm-hmm. So those two are kind of like intertwined for me. So I'm definitely an AEW fan. I don't hate WWE. I still watch it here and there, but AEW is definitely where I lean. And most of it is because a lot of their roster I've seen live before. So that part of it's so cool.
And I feel like, you got more of a personal connection with them too, because like you just said, the roster and we see our favorites there all the time.
Right.
Josh Lee, let's not forget about him.
Love John. Love John.
Rennie D, I love Rennie D. I've been, hooked on him since I saw him wrestle an old player. I want to say 2013, 14,
My dad loves him because he hates the frog.
Yeah. And I'm working to get Rennie D on here and chat with him because I believe he was born in Eau Claire. That's, where we have like the connection because that's where I'm from.
Right.
So it's really cool to, have that. And then he mentioned me and my buddy Bob on his podcast, The Pencil, back in the day. He's like, yeah, I had a couple fans come over and want their picture with me, even though that I was the ring announcer guy or whatever. That was the coolest thing ever. I'm like, well, now I got to talk to him all the time.
Exactly.
And it's great to see him back as well. Who else are we missing?
I was saying for me, she's not on AEW, but somebody else that came back on Nitro was Badger Briggs, who I was very happy to see back after, I believe, an ACL injury.
Okay. Yeah, I vaguely remember her because I've only seen her wrestle once. So no disrespect or shade there. I just kind of forgot that.
Right.
Yeah, because I think she wrestled at the first Pride show that First Wrestling had.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've seen her.
I think there was a couple other shows in there too, but yeah, then she unfortunately got the ACL injury, but happy to see that she got to come back at Mall of America.
All right. Definitely get some more women in First Wrestling again. So
right.
I know we missed Brooke Valentine.
I miss
Blue, her. Too bad Cora Jade, a.k.a. Elena Black, is gone up to WWE, so.
Hopefully we'll see Blair in First Wrestling again soon. Blair Onyx.
Yeah, yep. She's definitely, her, Sierra, are on my list of people that I feel could easily be snatched up by one of these companies now with Sky Blues, I believe, under contract, you told me, by AEW?
So I saw something on Twitter. I don't know if it's like a full contract, but I think the deal is if any promotion wants to book her, they have to go through AEW now.
And that's smart. I mean, because, that's a younger talent, and not to take away from, I always get, is it Dynamite or Rampage that's on the YouTube?
Oh, that's Dark and Elevation.
Dark and Elevation. And that's a great spot because, that's kind of like an NXT 2.0 to get people familiar with them and, move them up. But she's had a lot of main roster stuff I've seen. So
yeah, she's been on Rampage quite a few times and been on a couple Dynamites too.
Another one that I've been really high on, I know she's already in Ring of Honor in NWA, is that Max the Impaler.
Yes.
She's just scary looking, like Fallout 4 vibes. And I posted up on the Friends of the Squared Circle Twitter the other day.
I saw that. Yeah, you tagged me.
Yeah.
And
that's because I figured you could get more, more vibes from it because I've only got 5 followers. So, whatever. But
I'll retweet you and I'll make sure to get
perfect.
People.
I know Clark does once in a while too. So appreciate you both doing that for me.
Of course.
I'm not trying to get rich or famous off of this. Just gain 1,000 followers and I would be excited. But like Darren's offered, I was like, you do what you feels right. Like I'm not, because he does sponsor me here. I'm like, do what you feels right, man. Like you don't have to retweet anything. I'm just trying to get a presence, and I might rebrand if need be to get a fresher Facebook feel. But that's all the garbage. But yes, Max the Impaler, and then she has a tag team partner too. I think it's Thunderdome Style on Instagram. I don't know the exact name she goes by her, but they got that post-apocalypse world vibe that I think would be great in First Wrestling, with some of the girls there, because it's some fresh faces and fresh characters definitely for that. And it would be kind of fun to watch, Thunderdome Style versus Free Range Kara, where you got, Mad Max meets Farm Girl,
Right.
And I need to see some more Brooke Valentine so that way I can finally get my 8x10. And I think I only have one picture with her, so.
I know. I need Brooke to beat up Kara. That's my favorite moment of the night.
That would be one that I would love to see. Just be like kind of like a little extreme match, just to watch, Country Bunk and get her butt kicked. No offense, Kara. Again, you're on the tier. If you're lower on the tier, I have to.
I've made it clear I won't cheer Kara until she decides to be a bad girl. So. Because I want to see a heel country girl just tearing everybody apart.
Tie him to the ropes, no pun intended. I even posted when she had like questions or suggestions. I'm like, man, get Thunder Frog and Wildcat, all those boys, and have yourself a stable, and then just go crazy with that, because it would be pretty funny watching those three, doing some crazy spots. But
for sure.
But just to wrap it all in, I feel like it was a 5-star night. I had a lot of fun. The only complaint I had from the show is when we went to the bathroom, someone tried to take our seats. sat on my posters. And I
Oh.
was like, so did you guys move the posters? Oh, is this your spot? Yeah, we just ran to the bathroom quick, so
Great.
lesson learned, I didn't want to go by myself or send her by herself because it's just like, anywho. But yeah, 5-star night. How about for you?
Oh, absolutely. And then, like I said, the after party made it all even better because I actually got to hang out with Sunny and Devon. I got to hang out with Riley. I got to hang out with Clark. I talked to Victoria for a very long time, and she actually gave me, you guys are going to freak out. She gave me this.
Like, don't take this the wrong way, but right now I hate you. Like, I was looking at those posters around the thing. I'm like, I should just go up there and take one because there's like 60 of them.
Right.
They're not going to care. And it's just like, well, I got my fanny pack, but that doesn't say anything First Wrestling on it.
Right. No, it was really sweet. I had talked to her the night before at FanFest too, just because, I write about women's wrestling.
Yep,
So
and we share those on our Facebook page. Yep.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk, to her about it. And the next night, because we had met back in Tower when she was at a Fortune Mania. Mm-hmm. So, and she actually remembered me from there too. So then at the after party, we were talking more. My dad got her a glass of wine, like all kinds of stuff. And
her stepmom. No, just kidding. Shout out to John.
Right. So then, I was like telling her about the articles. I actually wrote an article about her last week because I told her I would. Mm-hmm. And then she gave me her all access pass as a souvenir. Yeah. So I was very happy with that. I tried to offer her money and she wouldn't take it. So, but it was great.
Our money is no good at First Wrestling, ever.
It really isn't. No, it's
like,
not.
Why do I even bring money?
Right.
I mean, I'm happy that I save money, but I'm also happy to give it to my fellow friends and wrestlers,
Exactly. But then I got to meet Orange Cassidy, got a picture with him.
Whatever.
I got to talk to RBD for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
I didn't ask for a picture because he's just on a different level. Yep. I'm like, I'm not going to bother him for a picture. But I did get to talk to him for a little bit. Got to talk to Aria. Got to really talk to everybody. The only one that wasn't there was Ethan Page. But
he said he was leaving anyways.
Exactly.
Whatever. What a big jerk.
But yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, my favorites was getting to hang with Riley a little bit, and then I also got to hang with Devon and Sunny together, which was it was a riot. It was so fun.
Yeah. If AEW, after they're done with the Trust Brothers, put him and Devon together,
it'd be crazy.
Tickets sold. I would buy tickets just to go watch them wrestle. Like it.
Oh, me too. Because that match they had at Palooza is still probably my match of the year.
Yeah. I don't want to get too on a tangent about Devon. We talk too much about him. Right. Even my buddy down at Showtime Wrestling there, him and I agree. Like, he is great.
Yeah, he's the future.
Definitely. And no shade or disrespect to Eric and Darren, but they probably got another good 20 years in the bank, and Devon's just ready to roll. And I love it. So it's the future, like you said. It's great. I can't wait to see him more. Like, it sounds cliche, but I want to see him hit the other big areas and then just get out of this small little pond and jump into a bigger one. So.
And he's been doing a lot too. I mean, he's always traveling every weekend to different shows.
Yeah, he's going down to Illinois and stuff a lot more now. And
yeah, and I
think Fargo's starting to put something together again with Below Zero, I think it's called.
Okay.
There's a new one kind of popping up. We've got All Out Pro Wrestling out of Chippewa and Eau Claire. There's so many, I can't keep track. There's just so many.
Yeah.
But we are going to show this nice little picture here now that we talked about FanFest. Here's Abbi with some of her favorites there. We got Riley Jackson. Bleh, just because, I got to boo Riley Jackson any chance again. You're a WrestlePalooza champion, Darren Corbin.
Yeah, those are friend here.
What's that?
So those ones were from WrestlePalooza.
Oh yeah, I just stole them quick off your Facebook so I can show you some cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Then everybody can see it a little bit better now that we have great audio. And then one last one here. Take that down. This is how it started in 1995 and how it's going in 2022. We love First Wrestling here at Friends of the Squared Circle. Eric has given me permission to start promoting their events. So on future episodes, we will be talking about them more and
Love
what
it.
they have coming. So, Abby, I do
Hopefully
appreciate
Duluth.
you. So, what's that?
Hopefully Duluth.
Yes, Duluth would be great. Even Superior here on the ghetto side of the bridge, as I like to call it. Abby, I do appreciate you coming on again.
Thanks
Glad
for
the
having
quality
me.
of the video is a lot better. We're getting better at this.
We're getting there.
I might need to have you on a few more times with our first wrestling
Anytime.
Wrestlers down there. They know you, they know me. You can conduct yourself more of a, what's it called? They called it on the podcast last time, interview integrity. I just kind of wing it, get a few questions out there because I don't know how to shut up. But Abby, I do appreciate you. I can't thank you enough for helping me with this project. Thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. Anything you want to plug, anything you want to share?
Again, just if you guys feel like you want to, you can follow me on Twitter at Abbi McMillan. Check out my writings on Women's Wrestling Talk. I have articles that drop every Wednesday, sometimes more frequently. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to. You can add me on Facebook, although I may not add you back because I'm not really on Facebook that much anymore. But yeah, just follow me on my social media if you want to. I talk a lot about wrestling.
And we do throw those links on here and there on Friends of the Squared Circle, so that way we can brag about our Friends of the Squared Circle. I enjoy them. It's something different, something new, and of course, it's me supporting you like you support me. And definitely check out her Twitter because when she's having a bad day when the Vikings lose, but they did not lose last week, so good for them.
And they will not lose tomorrow.
I'm a secret Viking fan. I love when they beat the Packers here because I can't stand a Packer fan. I definitely hate the 49ers, and they can just, get rid of that team, bring in a new one. That's for Randy. I know he's listening. But yes, again, Abby, thank you so much. And until next time, folks, thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. We'll talk to you soon, Abby.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, and then just to close it out here, make sure you give us a like and follow there at Twitter at FOTC, and as well as check out our sponsors, Superior Creations. I know the plugs aren't great. We're working on a lot of things here, folks. I'm starting to get a little studio put together here as this progresses. I am getting this is the new place, so now it'll be a little bit more NC-17, adult friendly. I don't know what you call it. But thank you all for watching. Stay tuned. More things to come. And as always, thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. Crander Q out.